People talk about Alexander the Great as if he were born unstoppable, as if destiny handed him the world and he simply took it. That is a lie. Alexander was not born great. He was born restless. From a young age, he was warned, like every other man, that the world had limits, that power had borders, that ambition must eventually learn restraint. Alexander rejected all of it. While other boys learned obedience, Alexander learned defiance. He watched kings rule cautiously, generals hesitate, and men with talent shrink themselves to survive. And he decided early he would rather burn than bend. The first sign of his mindset. When Alexander tamed Bucephalus, it was not strength that made the horse submit. It was understanding. Alexander noticed something others missed. The horse was afraid of its own shadow. That moment defined him. Where others saw danger, Alexander saw fear. And where there is fear, there is control. This pattern would repeat itself for the rest of his life, not just with horses, but with armies, nations, and men. The war against limits. As Alexander rose to power, his generals constantly warned him. The enemy is larger, the land is hostile, supply lines are weak, retreat is safer. Alexander listened, then he ignored them, because he understood something deeply unsettling. Limits only exist for those who accept them. Most men plan to survive. Alexander planned to dominate. He crossed deserts without water, marched armies where maps ended, fought forces twice his size, not once, but again and again. And each victory did something dangerous. It convinced him that reality itself could be bent to will. Why his men feared him. Alexander's soldiers admired him, but they also feared him. Not because he was cruel, but because he never stopped. When his men begged to rest, Alexander saw decay. When they asked for comfort, he saw weakness, because he knew a brutal truth. The moment ambition slows, it begins to die. His closest companions wanted balance. Alexander wanted legacy. And legacy demands sacrifice, not just from the leader, but from everyone who follows. This is where admiration turned into resentment. Alexander's fire exposed the limits of other men, and men hate being reminded of what they are not willing to become. The paradox of loyalty. The higher Alexander rose, the fewer people he trusted. He had learned early what most leaders learn too late. Loyalty fades when ambition grows. Men follow greatness until it demands too much. Every promotion created envy. Every reward created entitlement. Every victory created men who believed they deserved more. Alexander understood this psychology instinctively. That is why he ruled with distance, not warmth. He rewarded loyalty, but he never allowed himself to be needed, because dependence creates resentment, and resentment eventually becomes betrayal. Why Alexander could never stop. People ask why Alexander didn't stop conquering, why he didn't rest, why he didn't consolidate power. The answer is uncomfortable. Stopping would have made him ordinary. Alexander knew something most men avoid admitting. Peace terrifies the ambitious, because in silence, doubt grows. And Alexander could not allow doubt to rule him or his empire. So he kept moving, kept conquering, kept pushing beyond what was reasonable. Not because he was reckless, but because momentum was his armor. The Stoic truth about greatness. The Stoics would later articulate what Alexander lived. Greatness is not inherited, it is forged. It demands restraint, discipline, and the willingness to be misunderstood. Alexander accepted isolation as the cost of dominance. He knew approval was temporary, history was permanent. So he chose to be feared by his enemies, resented by his peers, and remembered by the world. The final irony. Alexander did not fall to betrayal. He did not fall to defeat. He fell to the same fire that made him unstoppable. His body failed, but his will never did. And that is why his name still commands power. Because Alexander didn't just conquer the world, He conquered the most dangerous enemy of all, doubt. Final question. So ask yourself, was Alexander great because he ruled the world, or because he refused to let comfort rule him? And more importantly, how many men today could survive the mindset that made him immortal?